To support this channel, visit the TCGplayer affiliate link in the description below. Liesa, Forgotten Archangel, is all about dying and getting our creatures back. I would think it's very similar to an Aetherios God of Passage deck in that way, and we're going to trigger as many things as possible by murdering our opponent's things and our own, only to do it over and over and over again. Dying is fun. Here's where we start, by manipulating the board in our favor. Plague Crafter, Fleshbrag Marauder, Demon's Disciple, and Merciless Executioner. These four do the exact same thing. Make everybody sack a creature or planeswalker in the case of Demon's Disciple and Plague Crafter. When they enter, our opponents sack a creature and we also sack one of these. If Liesa is on the board, they'll just return to our hands on the next end step to repeat. Shriekmaw. Evoke Shriekmaw, destroy a creature, and then return it to your hand. Simple. Death Render. This is a really fun card. When the creature holding it dies, we replace it with something in our hand. These will repeat well with the cards we have coming up. Karmic Guide. She returns a creature from her graveyard to play, and don't even bother paying that echo cost because she'll come right back after she dies to use again. Dying makes winning fun. This section is where all the magic happens. It all really comes together here. Zulaport Cutthroat, Cruel Celebrant, Blood Artist, Bastion of Remembrance, Sir Conrad the Grim, the Meathook Massacre, Falconwrath Noble, Vindictive Vampire, Pious Evangel / Wayward Disciple. Oh man, these all more or less read the same thing. Make our opponents lose life, while we sometimes usually gain life. With all the sacrifice triggers happening, our opponents will constantly lose life and will constantly gain life. Viscera Seer and Carrion Feeder. These are really just here to be free sacrifice outlets. Feel free to swap for more expensive cards like Phyrexian Altar or Altar of Dementia, etc. Ashes of the Abhorrent, Daxos Blessed by the Sun, and Death Greeter. These all gain us some life off the death of all our creatures, and again, our creatures will just recycle with Liesa out. Grey Merchant of Asphodel, Dingus Staff, and Massacre Worm. More life loss for our opponents in a couple different ways. Dingus Staff hurts us too, but that's fun and okay because we're going to be gaining life just as fast. Also, Dingus is fun to say. Dingus, 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 hey, Dingus, 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 Dingus Staff Array. Pitiless Plunderer, Blight Mound, Black Market, and Elenda the Dusk Rose. These all have the same death trigger things, but they'll give us treasure, vampires, pests, or mana. It'll stack quick with all the reduce, reuse, recycles. Card draw. These will help us out by drawing cards as well as sacrificing and such. Grim Haruspex, Harvester of Souls, and Midnight Reaper. When something dies, draw a card, and if these die, they'll come right back to our hand to draw even more cards. Solemn Simulacrum and Dark Prophecy. More card draw here when things die, and Solemn Simulacrum gains us a land when we recast it. Village Rites, Deadly Dispute, Altar's Reap, Skull Tap, and Costly Plunder. These are by no means the best cards for what they do, but these are the best examples I could come up with off the top of my head. Sack a creature to draw a card, or 2 or 3. The sacrificed creature will of course come back to sack again later. Invincible. This section is all about becoming Kami of False Hope, Selfless Squire, Fog in White. Reuse Kami of False Hope to do this over and over and over again, and when Selfless Squire dies, it'll come right back to Fog again. Luminous Broodmoth. This is just a brilliant card in any white deck, and it's hard to get around, and when our things die, they'll just come back to the battlefield with flying. I'm looking at you, Flashback Marauder with wings. Selfless Savior, Selfless Spirit, and Dauntless Bodyguard. And now we do the same stuff here with Indestructible, sack, Indestruct, back to hand, repeat, sack, Indestruct, back, repeat, sack, Indestruct, back, repeat. Okay, you get it. Easily remove. You should see a theme here at this point. Cathar Commando, Reliquary Monk, Rambunctious Mutt, and Coarse Sanctifiers. Destroy artifacts and enchantments on sticks and do it again when it dies and stuff. Bone Splinters, another sack outlet for 1 black mana that also destroys a creature in the process. Again, probably not the best one, but it's cheap and it does the job. Bounty Agent destroys a legendary permanent of a certain type, and then you'll do it again later. Wipes, like Dude Wipes for the battlefield. Path of Peril. Cool new card from that one vampire set or whatever. Destroys all creatures with mana value 2 or less unless you pay the cleave cost. Versatile if you want to control the board in a certain way. Deathbringer Regent and Magus of the Disc. It was important to have board wipes that were recurable with Liesa, and that's where these two come in. When they die, they'll return. No fun for our opponents. I guess not us too, but they'll lose life and it'll be fine. It'll be great. Thank you so much for watching. There's a few things missing from the deck that you could definitely add in, like more protection for Liesa, like Ajani's Presence, Sheltering Light, or Rush of Vitality. Again, not specifically these cards. If you don't like them, they're just examples. I'd also add a couple more Return from the Graveyard to hand/battlefield cards, just in case Liesa isn't out so the deck can keep running. Cards like Disentomb, Zombify, or Gravedigger. And again, thank you so much for supporting the channel and visiting that TCGplayer link in the description. Let me know what you liked about this deck and let me know what other Commander decks I should do. And make sure you stop by again next week for your weekly dose of magic.